Hey everybody, it's Miss Mika with Keep County Beautiful. Hope y'all are having a good day today. I am going to talk some trash with you as well. And hey, I did get down and dirty in that one video, didn't I? I was like in the middle of a trash pile. But anyways, okay, so that is just what Miss Greta and I do, is talk trash. This is what we do. So anyways, okay, so we're going to talk about packaging today because believe it or not, a lot of our trash is actually packaging. Okay, so we're going to talk about what all that means here in just a minute. So before we get started, why are we talking about packaging in the first place? Well, we're going to talk about it because this is one way to reduce and to make less trash. Remember, we talked about that in other videos. Actually, the past 3 videos we've mentioned about reducing. So why do we need to reduce the amount of trash that we make? We know that it's because it makes less trash takes up less space in the landfill. Excuse me for that. It takes up less space in the landfill. We talked about how our county has to pay money to get rid of that trash, but there's some other things that go along with it too. When we make less trash, we are reducing the amount of energy that we use. We are reducing the amount of pollution that we make, and we are conserving or saving our natural resources, and of course extending the life of that landfill and keeping more space available for things that really need to go to a landfill. Okay, so it's also important because, like we said, it does cut back on the cost of transportation, of disposal, and of recycling the waste. So how does that happen? Okay, so let's think about how this all works. Okay, so we have to take our trash to the dump, which is really called a convenience center, but we all call it the dump. Okay, so we take our trash to the dump. We put it in the compactor, or if you live in Parrotsville, I think you're the only one who doesn't have a compactor, you put yours in the dumpster cans. Okay, so what does it do after that? We know a garbage truck has to come and collect that compactor or empty those pans. That garbage truck is going to travel all over the county. It goes to Parrotsville, it goes to Del Rio, it goes to Grassy Fork, it goes to Cosby, it goes to the several locations that are in and around Newport and Wilton Springs and all those areas, and out in Rankin and down in Bobby. So you think about that, is a lot of miles, especially traveling all the way to Del Rio and back and all the way to Grassy Fork and back. Well, who pays for that? Well, the county has to contract with a business who is willing to come and contract means that they make an agreement. They have to make an agreement with a business who will come and pick up that trash from the convenience centers for us. And those garbage trucks are going to transport that to a landfill. Okay, so where does our trash go? Yes, we have a landfill in our county. Ours is actually located in what's called Irish Cut Community. It's in between Newport and Bridgeport. And so we do have a landfill there, but our landfill is called a diversion landfill. So our household trash does not go there unless you take it yourself. Okay, when our garbage trucks come and pick up our trash from the convenience centers, they take it all the way to Morristown. So you think about, because they get paid per mile, so you think about paying a truck to go all the way to Grassy Fork and pick up trash, and then drive all the way to Morristown to dump out that trash, and then they have to go all the way to Del Rio and get the trash and take it to Morristown and dump it, and then they have to go all the way to Cosby to get the trash, and then all the way to Morristown to dump it. So there's a lot of miles involved with that. So the county is having to pay that company to do that. Plus, when you get to a landfill, you have to pay something called a tipping fee. So they weigh the truck when it goes in. The truck empties the trash out into the cell, and we talked about making landfills and all that stuff, so this stuff should all be familiar with us. The truck will dump out its trash in a cell of the landfill, and then it will be weighed again as it leaves, and they will subtract the beginning weight from the ending weight and figure out how much trash was dumped into their landfill. So then the landfill will send a bill to the county saying you have thrown away this amount of trash and this is how much it's going to cost to dispose of it. Okay, so there's a lot of money that gets involved with managing our trash. So when we make less trash, then we are saving our county money. And packaging is one way to make less trash. And that'll all make sense here in just a minute, okay? So, remember in the one of the previous videos that Miss Greta had mentioned something about buying packages, and I think I had mentioned it too, about buying packages that make less trash. Okay, that is one way to make less trash. We look at, should I get a big bottle of apple juice, or should I get a package that has cardboard cellophane wrap around it, plus it has 24 small bottles of juice? Which one is the smarter choice for me if I want to make less trash? Well, obviously the big juice bottle would be the best choice, because then I only have one piece of trash versus the 24 bottles plus the cardboard carton plus the cellophane wrapper. So that's like 26 pieces of trash. And I could just get rid of that one big bottle and be done with that. Okay, so that is one way. Consumers, people who purchase things, can look at, how can I buy something that makes less trash? Usually when you buy in what we call bulk, when you buy bigger containers, you make less trash, okay? And so factories also look at, how can we make less trash? They actually even took and figured out how to, when plastic first came out in the 70s, in the 1970s that is, plastic, they used a lot of plastic to make a bottle. But factories have done all kinds of research and experiment, and they have actually reduced the amount of plastic that it takes to make like a 2-liter bottle. Like if you got a 2 liter of Coke or Dr. Pepper, back in the 70s, that bottle might have weighed about 68 grams, and now they've reduced it down to 51, and some of those may have even been reduced down even more than that. Okay, and that actually saves a ton of plastic. Like it saves millions of pounds, 250 million pounds of plastic each year just from your 2-liter bottles. And I know you guys probably don't remember, but I remember when bottled water became a pretty popular thing. And you can tell that water bottles, the plastic water bottles, have even become thinner than they did when they were first introduced. Plastic grocery bags have become thinner over the years than when they were first introduced. So they're looking at ways to still make that plastic do its job, but not use as much. So factories even look at, how can we make less trash? And that is one way that they do that. So some things that you can think about, I know a lot of times that you guys don't have a lot of control in your homes as to what makes less trash and stuff. You can suggest things to your parents, but I know your kids, and sometimes parents have already, made their decisions about things. But there are things you can do in your classroom as a group. You can talk about, how can you make less trash in your classroom? You can talk about that maybe you're going to recycle all your paper. I know a lot of schools recycle paper, but there's some schools that quit. So you may want to recycle all your paper. You may be a school that says, hey, we want to start recycling our plastic. You might be able to talk to your principal about at lunch not using the styrofoam trays and going back to the reusable trays that they had when I was a kid, and the real silverware that has to be washed, instead of using your disposable sporks and your disposable trays and things. There's things that you guys can do to help make less trash in your school. So you could talk about that. You could talk about, is it easy? Is it hard? I know when I taught school, because I taught 4th grade at Del Rio, and one of the things that I did that I didn't even realize I was making less trash, I had a system that worked with my computer, and instead of printing out multiple copies of tests, I would put my test up on the board, and the kids took a test with a remote control. I was saving tons of paper when I did that. I thought I was just being smart by not having to grade the papers because the computer graded it for me. But I was actually making less trash because I was putting it up on the board and the kids were putting it in with their remote controls. So that's another thing that you can do. You can talk about, is it easy? Is it expensive? How much is it going to cost? And there might be some things that you can do in your classroom to make less trash as well, okay? So how else can we make less trash? Well, we can look at our packaging, okay? So a package is any kind of container that holds a product or an item, or maybe it even holds another package, okay? So packages come in all kinds of shapes and all kinds of sizes and all kinds of materials. They come in bags and boxes and cups and trays and cans and tubes and bottles and jars and wraps and pouches, and we could just go on and on and on, okay? Everything that you buy when you go to Walmart or you go to Food City or you go to Aldi's or you go to Price Less or wherever you go and shop, when you buy a product, every product that you buy in that store comes in a package. Okay, so let's say you go to the store and you buy deodorant. Okay, so your deodorant comes in a plastic container, doesn't it? Because you're not using the plastic container to rub underneath your arm. You're using the stuff that's inside of it to rub underneath your arm, right? So that plastic, whatever you call it, a roller, I guess, is your package. Okay, if you buy toothpaste, you're not using the box that it came in. You're not using the tube that it came in. You're using the pasty material that's inside of the tube, okay? So when we talked about that a package can hold another package, toothpaste is a great example. The box is packaging, but it holds the tube, which is packaging, which holds the toothpaste, which I use, okay? So sometimes we have packages inside of packages. So why do we have all these different types of packages? Why do we have toothpaste in a tube in a box? Okay, so there's some reasons for this. First of all, it is so it can contain a specific product. I know that if I'm going to go look for some toothpaste, that I need to look for a box that has a tube inside of it. I know that if I'm looking for deodorant, that I need to have a roller. I know that if I'm looking for a shampoo bottle, that it's in a plastic bottle. I know the product that I need is going to come in a certain package, okay? So I also know that my product needs to be protected and it needs to be preserved. I don't want to go and buy something that is broken or damaged or moldy or rotten. So packaging helps to keep things fresh, but it also helps to keep things from getting broken. I mean, if your parents are, it's you just had Christmas, and how would your parents feel if they bought your toys and you opened them up and there was no packaging or whatever and all your toys were broken? So there are reasons to packaging. Sometimes it's to keep things fresh. Sometimes it's to keep things from getting broken, okay? So another reason is to provide information. If you have food allergies or any kind of allergies, that's important for you because you have to read the packaging to see if you're allergic to it. If you're taking a medicine, you want to read the package to see that you're taking the right amount to make you better, or that you're taking the right amount so that you're not taking too much and it hurt you, okay? So those things are very important to us. Also, you might need to know how much something weighs, or you might need to know the address of the company who made it so that you can write to them with a question or something. So all of that information is contained on the side. You might be counting calories or counting your fat grams and watching what you eat. And so that's really important. You need to know how much sugar is in something, how many carbohydrates is in something. So packaging is really important because it gives us all of that information. And companies also put things in packaging because they spend a lot of money on advertising for you to buy that product, okay? So if you've seen an advertisement for quilted northern toilet paper, you know that it's going to have the blue on it, and I think it's got like a little girl or something. I don't know. I can't remember. There's a little girl in the corner and it's blue and it's got like a little needle and looks like it's quilting it like a quilt piece and all that stuff. If you've seen advertisements for that and you say, I'm going to go buy me some quilted northern toilet paper, when you get to the store, you need to know what you're looking for, right? If you're going to buy Charmin, you know to look for the package that has the bears on it. If you're going to buy Angel Soft, you know to look for the one that has the little angel with the little angel wings on it and stuff and floating in clouds. And I think the White Cloud brand has nothing but clouds. So they spend all this money on advertisement and to make logos and all this stuff so that when you go to the store, they want you to recognize their product and buy it. Okay, so that's another reason why we have packaging. And then another reason is just for convenience. It's just easy. Could you imagine working at Walmart and being in charge of stacking toothpaste and it all be in tubes? It'd be really hard to stack tubes on top of one another, wouldn't it? So they put toothpaste tubes in boxes just so you can stack it better. And so cereal, why is cereal in a box? Which I know we can buy some cereal that's not in a box, it's just in a bag. But why does cereal come in a box with a bag inside of it that holds the cereal inside of that? It's really hard to stack bags on the shelf. It's really hard for you when you get home to stack a bag in your shelf. And I know some people buy the bags. I buy the bags and then I pour them into a reusable plastic container so that I can stack it in my cabinet. But that's why they put cereal in boxes, is so it can be stacked. And so that you can, it's easy for you to get it out of this, get it off the shelf. I'll get my thoughts together here in just a minute, sorry. Get it off the shelf, put it in your buggy, put it on the conveyor belt, let the cashier ring it up, put it in a bag, put it in your car, get it home, and then put it in your cabinet. That's why they do all that, is so it's easy for you and it protects that product so that when you get it home, that product was just the same as when you bought it. Because when you think about it, the stuff that we buy goes through a lot of traveling. It has to be made at a factory. It usually gets transported to a warehouse. From the warehouse, it will come to the store. Then it might get pushed all around the store before it gets put on the shelves. Then you come and get it. You put it in your buggy. You take it to the cash register. The cashier rings it up. She puts it in the bag. You take your bag, put it back in your cart, take it to your car. Then you drive it home and you get it out at home and you finally get it into your house and you put it up. There's a lot of traveling, isn't it? So they want to make sure that that packaging will last through all of that handling and stuff as well. So packages also have to be compatible with the product. Could you imagine buying cheese in a cardboard box? The cheese would get all sticky and gooey and stick to the cardboard, and you wouldn't be able to pull the slice off and put it on your sandwich. That would be kind of gross, isn't it? So that's why cheese is in plastic packaging. It has to agree. That's what compatible means. It has to get along with that product. It has to help that product maintain its good qualities. Like when you buy cheese, you want that cheese to be in a slice so that you can take it out and put it on your sandwich. But if it's in cardboard, it's going to stick to it and you're not going to be able to make that get that slice to put on your sandwich. So that's why some packages are different from others. You can't just use the same packaging for the same products. Every product's different. And like, think about eggs. Could you put your eggs in a cardboard box? No, by the time you go home, they'd be all broken, wouldn't they? That's why eggs are in cartons and have their little separate space for each egg so that that egg is protected, okay? All right. So there's a lot of science and experiments and stuff that goes on with how to figure out what kind of packaging is appropriate for that material. So that might be a cool job that some of you might want to do one of these days, like do experiments to see if a product is going to be destroyed. You put it through all kinds of different scenarios, like you might drop things off of a tall building to see if the package is going to keep the material inside of it safe. That'd be a pretty cool job to have, wouldn't it? But that's what they do. They try to find the right kind of packaging to protect that item so that it will still be in the same shape when you bought it as when you got it home, okay? So they do want it to hold it, okay, and take care of it. All right, so the Environmental Protection Agency reports that nearly half of our municipal solid waste is packaging. I want to say it's probably even more than that now. And if you remember with the garbage pizza lesson that Miss Greta did, a quarter of that packaging or that pizza was paper. So you think about, there's a lot of products that we use in our house that's packaged with paper. Cereal boxes, cake mix boxes, pudding boxes, smack cake boxes, like if you buy Capri Suns, they come in a box. There's lots of different things. Think about all the toy packaging that has paper on the back. So about 44%, nearly half of that packaging does not get recycled. Okay, or no, it's 44% of it does get recycled. That leaves over half of it that doesn't. And it's because a lot of people don't think about that they can recycle a cereal box. But you can. A lot of people think that when you say you can recycle paper, that it's only paper. But when we say recycling paper, that means that you can recycle anything that's made from trees. You can recycle that cereal box. You can recycle the Kleenex box. You can recycle your paper towel tube and your toilet paper roll, because that's part of the packaging too that holds the toilet paper. So any of that stuff can be recycled. And there's a lot of plastic containers that can be recycled. Like we've said before, our number ones and our number twos can be recycled. But if you remember when I did the waste audit and I had a bunch of plastic that was left over, chip bags and snack cake bags and stuff like that can't be recycled. And so yes, those things will have to go to the landfill, but there is a lot of packaging in our homes that can be recycled. We just don't think about it sometimes. We don't think about that those things can be recycled, but they can, okay? So there's also, remember I said that when you go to Walmart or to the grocery store or wherever, that everything you buy is in a package. There are some things that come in a natural packaging that can be composted, okay? So think about all your fruits and veggies, like an apple. The packaging for an apple is that apple skin. A banana, the packaging for that banana is the banana peel. The egg, the packaging for that egg, besides the styrofoam carton that it comes in, is the egg shell, because you don't eat the eggshell. You're after the white and the yolk that's inside, aren't you? A coconut, the shell of the coconut is its packaging. The husk and the silk of the corn is packaging, because you're after the kernel. That's what you're wanting to eat. Peanuts come in a shell, and that's a packaging. Peas come in pods, and that is packaging. Potatoes have a skin, a peel on them, and that is their packaging. So Mother Nature has their own packaging. Fruits and vegetables and nuts are contained in their own packaging, and after we use those, then we compost them, okay? All right, so let's just kind of go back real quick and talk about those are natural packaging. Of course, that's the best kind of packaging because it can be composted and nothing goes into the trash whatsoever. But we have things like we have the gallon jugs for our milk. We have milk cartons. We have you could have juice boxes or a little container of juice or the bigger container of juice. You have aluminum cans and glass bottles, like ink pens. The plastic part of the pen is a container. The ink is what you use. We have gift packaging like boxes and ribbons and gift bags, all of those things that can be reused. And instead of using gift wrap that can't be recycled, you could wrap your presents in newspaper. So we have boxes, cardboard boxes, and we have bags. And you think about medicine. Sometimes when you buy medicine, it comes in a box and there's a little aluminum foil tabs inside that you pop the medicine out of. Sometimes they have safety seals on top and they're stuffed with cotton balls down in the bottom, and they even have things in them, little packages to keep the moisture out and stuff. So all of that stuff is part of packaging, okay? So we need to look at what are some things that we can do to make less trash with our packaging. Well, one of the things you can do is you can buy fresh fruits and vegetables. That will cut back because all that stuff gets composted and you don't have to worry about recycling it and all that. So instead of buying canned peas, because there's nowhere around here that we can do anything with the can. We just have to try to reuse it and use it for a craft or something like that. And frozen peas, if you bought frozen peas, you can't recycle that bag. So your best option would be to buy fresh peas, wouldn't it? And it's a little bit more work, but you've made less trash. You made that choice to make less trash. If you were going to make orange juice, you might buy the little orange juice pouches. That makes a lot of trash. You might buy a big jug of orange juice that you could recycle. Some people buy the frozen concentrate. That would just have to go in the trash. Or you could buy fresh oranges and squeeze your own orange juice, couldn't you? Which would make the less trash because you could compost that. So it's just, making those decisions. Do you want to do that? Or maybe instead of making your orange juice from a frozen concentrate where that container has to be thrown away, saying that I'm going to buy my juice in a plastic bottle so that I can recycle it. Okay, it's just making those choices when you go to the store. Is there something that I can do that I can make less trash? I can either compost it or recycle it instead of sending it into the landfill. Okay, all right, so just think about all of this packaging that we have. What can you do to make less trash? Okay, so maybe you'll think about buying things that doesn't create as much trash. All right, so we will see you guys later. We hope you have a good day.